Oh man, today I am excited because I am going to be sharing with you 4 powerful tips to help you live more in balance by practicing what I call undoing. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, my name is Dom, and I help people to step into their truth and power. Some time ago, I heard a quote from Socrates that really resonated with me. Socrates said, "Beware the barrenness of a busy life." I think most of us can relate to being busy, maybe even too busy. There's just so much to do between our work and chores, errands, taking care of our family, spending time with friends. It can just all definitely consume so much of our time. But that quote from Socrates really resonated with me because just because we're being busy does not always mean we're being productive. If we're busy doing a lot of things that aren't meaningful or purposeful, we can end up feeling barren and empty inside. It seems that being busy is something that is more common in industrial and service-based societies. We always hear, do more, have more, be more. But hearing that tends to really get to me at times. Even though I'm pretty conscious of the trapping of it, I can sometimes forget that success and achievements aren't necessarily equated with just how busy I am. Sure, to be and feel successful requires us to take action towards our desired end states. But it does not mean that you have to make yourself crazy or feel stressed out about it while in the process of doing those things. And that is precisely the trap that so many of us fall into. When I was in the process of transitioning from corporate America into running my own business, I got on that busy track. In fact, I found that I almost defaulted right into it because I had been trained to work that way for my entire adult life in corporate America. I started becoming more obsessive with my goals, and I spent a lot of time doing things, but not enough time being, and really appreciating what I had in that present moment. After a while, I realized that this was not sustainable. And so I had to sit down and I had to have a real heart-to-heart with myself. And I realized that I was connecting my who with my do. I had to remind myself that my worth is not tied to how much I'm doing or how much I'm getting accomplished. It's also not tied to how much money I make or even how good I am at what I'm doing to earn a living. I had to remind myself that I cannot live my life tied to some egocentric type of identity. You know, it was a real bitch slap to my ego, to be honest with you, but it was true. By that, what I mean is the I. The I has some insatiable thirst or desire for carnal things. Or the I can get in the way of me feeling free and living a peaceful life. The I can put me in a self-imposed prison. I say I want this and I want that, but that I is really not my true identity. It is that I aspect of me that goes after all sorts of things in an attempt to find freedom or peace. However, my freedom and peace don't come from striving. They don't come from busyness. They cannot come from that place of I. Finally, after a number of weeks of living in the fast-paced autopilot life, I stopped for a moment and spent some time in solitude and quiet. I can hear the wind chimes. Those wind chimes actually remind me often just to sit and be in quiet with myself. So I began to rest a little bit more, and I began to relax completely into just being. I just let go of all expectations and of any need to control things and just really began to let my just began to let everything just be and allow myself to find simplicity. And in doing that, I was able to really then find my freedom, find my peace, and the joy of simplicity in my life. It was one of the first times I consciously decided to use some stress management techniques to help get quiet with myself. Up until that point, I had never really been into meditating because at the time, I felt it just didn't work for me. So I even made a conscious effort of trying to make that more simple for myself too. Would it help you if I shared that with you? Because I know many of you probably struggle with the same kind of thing. If it would, type yes in the comments below. Just type yes in the comments below. Awesome. So I initially had this idea that meditating had to be like I had to sit there and just like zone out and just be home and, all of that stuff. And that just isn't me. My mind just kind of goes crazy all the time. I'll think of something and I always want to respond to it and get right on it right away so that I don't forget. All this stuff tended to come up and really distract me. I was always being distracted. So my goal was to, instead of trying to get to that preconceived notion of what I thought meditation should be, I just allowed myself to turn everything off and just sat quietly. Just sat in the stillness of that quietness. And while doing that, I offered gratitude for various things that I had in my life in that moment. In doing that, I let the stillness and quiet begin to envelop me. And I reminded myself of life's bigger picture. It was then that I realized I may have experienced what meditation is really like and what it's really all about. I was able to let go of many thoughts that were running rampant in my mind prior. I was able to connect with that infinite goodness, that love of my higher power and spirit that is within my heart and soul. It was there that I began to lose the shackles of anxiety and sadness and fear and stress. Stress management and worthiness affirmation is a practice. So getting quiet to connect with that deeper part of myself is really a discipline. It's not something that came natural to me until I let go of what my expectations were of it and what I thought it was supposed to be. And letting go of trying to force it or coerce it out of myself. Because forcing it and coercing it is actually completely counterproductive of what it's supposed to be. So this brings me to what I call the power of undoing. The power of undoing. The bigger picture for us may not be pounding the clock to get more hours of work in. Freedom and peace usually doesn't come from doing more. However, it can come in the being in presence with the stillness within. It can come with making a decision to live a balanced life and regularly check in with yourself into that quiet place to be sure you're not too busy. I don't mean physical busyness either. We can all be overly mentally busy too, which can really keep us from getting still with our real selves and dealing with some things that we may be unconsciously avoiding. Things that may actually be keeping us stuck because we are avoiding it. It can distract us and keep us from getting real and raw with ourselves and with others. So if you're physically or mentally overly busy, start pausing before you say or do anything. Tell people you're cutting back on your commitment. Tell that part of yourself that wants to control everything to pipe down and just stay committed to balance and the power of undoing instead. Things can get so confusing. We may even feel pain. It's a part of this journey. But let's not try to run from this by being super busy or by putting a Band-Aid on to hide a scar. What do you really want? And who is the you that's asking? It's that part of you that wants to control your experience, which basically just wants anything that will pacify its cravings for a while. Or is it your heart and soul? your authentic inner spirit, because these are the things that will always lead you to feeling more freedom and peace. You can tell which is which by noticing if you are trying to control a situation or if you are able just to completely surrender it. The real deep part of you inside just wants to be. It just wants to show up in the world as is and to be loved and adored for who you are for no reason. It's kind of like the tree that stands bold and is swaying in the wind, simply just being a tree. The tree is expressing itself as beauty and being content just in that, just in being a tree. The tree doesn't start chucking its nuts at the other trees when things get uncomfortable or if it gets too hot or too cold outside. The tree is just being in spite of. We too, just like the trees, are part of consciousness expressing itself. Once you get to that point, try to go even deeper into your stillness. If you believe in a higher power than yourself, take time regularly to be in relationship with it and just bask in the presence of it. The toughest part about any sort of personal or spiritual growth is actually taking the time to do the work, even if the work means sitting in silence. I completely understand. This is not easy to do for some of you, and within minutes, you may feel even super bored. I've been there. I've fallen asleep trying this. However, if you stay out of self-judgment and just stick with it, focusing on what's behind that blackness that lives behind your eyes, you'll begin getting a sense of a peaceful presence that you'll really appreciate. You'll feel less stressed, less anxious, and you'll have way more to offer others as well. Because we can add value to humanity as we are led by balance and as we pour out from a full cup. So I invite you today to take some time to try this. Even if it's just for a few minutes in the morning and a few moments in the evening, try it out. Breathe slowly, relax your entire body, and just bask in the stillness. Then, I invite you to comment here about what you experienced, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and I want to encourage you to continue on working this into your lifestyle. Now, if what I shared with you today resonates, I invite you to join me in my brand new free online community, Pro Empowerment Online. I'm there each week in the community providing even more valuable content, but also it provides a safe place for you and me to share your thoughts and experiences, to be yourself without feeling judged or being shut down or censored. To join me in that community, just click on the proempowerment.online link in the description box and comments below to sign up for free, and I'll see you over inside the community. Otherwise, I appreciate you being here with me today. If you could help me by taking a moment to smash that like button and subscribing to the channel and click on that bell so you know when I have a new video to share. By doing this, you'll be letting the social media gods know that you value this info, and it will be shared with others as well. I would greatly appreciate you doing that right now. And so until I connect with you again for my next video, stay in the love zone and stay empowered.